If you're a vegetarian but find it hard to stick to your diet living in Seoul, the Seoul Veggie Club is here to help. In our Seoul communities this week, we invite two members of the Seoul Veggie Club to hear what it's like to be a vegetarian in Seoul and how the club has been helping fellow vegetarians. Joining us in the studio are Shelley, DeWees, and Jaegyun. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having us.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves first. Let's start with Shelley.
Well, I've been in Korea for about 2 years, and I'm originally from the USA. I'm from a state called Montana, really rural, lots of mountains, and it was there in Montana that I learned how to be a vegetarian in a challenging environment. Amongst all the cows and all the cowboys, I was the lone vegetarian, and so I just sort of figured out how to adapt and... Yeah.
So how long have you been a vegetarian?
Since about 2007. Mm-hmm.
So about 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Oh, well, it started as an experiment, actually. In about 2007, I was feeling really overweight and just kind of slow and saggy. And I just decided that maybe I would try to be a vegetarian just for fun and just see. But within just a few days, 5 or 6 days, I was just feeling amazing. I was feeling so much better, and it changed me right away. It was such a simple change because I just felt incredible. So
did you lose a lot of weight too?
Over time I did. Over time I did lose a lot of weight. In fact, at my heaviest, I was really heavy at like 222 pounds, which is pretty heavy, I mean, for anybody. But now, geez, I'm about 80 pounds less than that now.
You're on the slim side, actually, right now.
Well, thanks. It's for a lot of different reasons, but vegetarianism is certainly a big factor.
Okay. What about you, Jack? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a native Korean. I'm from Yujin, and I do freelance English-Korean translation work. And last month, I went to an international vegetarian conference in Malaysia as a speaker to talk about vegetarianism in Korea. And the reason why I became vegetarian is that for the health benefits. Back about 2-3 years ago, I was a little bit sick.
2-3 years ago?
Yeah. And,
you were sick?
Yeah, not seriously sick, but I just had a kind of weak immune system back then, so I caught a cold more often. And also I had some skin problems. So I decided to become a vegetarian for health, better health. And also, there were some numerous animal diseases back then, like a mad cow disease, swine flu, and also on. So I just wanted to avoid the sick animals. Okay, so both of you started to become vegetarians for personal health reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What did you speak about at the vegetarian conference in Malaysia?
That's pretty much about the vegetarian scene. I mean the celebrities who became vegetarians and the trends of vegetarianism in Korea.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So, there are different types of herbivores.
Yes, there are.
There are vegetarians, and then they can be broken down to like vegans, and then there's also flexitarians,
pescatarians too.
Yeah. What are the differences?
Well, vegetarianism is just if you were to not have any meat at all. But as you say, they really do divide broadly, don't they, Jack?
Yeah, there are like 5 or 6 types of vegetarians. Like the least strict one is like a flexitarian, which means flexible vegetarian, who might eat some meats sometimes.
Okay.
And the other one is pescatarian, who eat seafoods. And above that is vegetarian, like who may avoid meats, but who would go for the dairy products. And then there's vegan, who would strictly avoid all kinds of animal products. And even beyond that is raw food vegan, who will take the raw food, not the cooked ones. And the most extreme type is fruitarian,
who only eat
who
fruit.
only stick to the fruits only, not the plant roots
That
even.
doesn't sound healthy.
I don't know anybody who's a fruitarian. Actually, I do know.
Me neither.
Yeah, right. I'm not surprised. I actually do know someone who takes it even further in a new movement in the world called freeganism. Have you heard about this?
No.
Freeganism is incredible. They're urban foragers. They literally go through the garbage.
What?
They literally go through the garbage and dig out a vegetarian diet. And the reason is because so many grocery stores are throwing away food constantly that they deem to be expired, but really is just fine. So every city can support a certain number of completely free eaters where they don't want to pay for anything.
They're free eaters, but they only eat vegetables.
Yes, and vegetables only.
So they're freeganism.
Freeganism. I do know one person like that, shockingly.
Oh, okay. So you guys are vegetarians.
Yes, I'm a vegan, actually.
You're a vegan, so
yeah.
you don't eat any animal product.
No, I don't generally. No.
Okay. What about you, Jack?
I'm kind of flexitarian and pescatarian.
So you occasionally eat meat and fish.
Yeah, sometimes.
And dairy as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What are the health benefits of being a vegetarian then? A vegetarian in a broader sense.
Well, they really run the gamut. The first thing that people are going to tell you when you talk about health benefits of vegetarianism is just prevention of disease, health disease, cancer, blah, blah, blah. But truly, I don't think it's a very attractive thing to start talking about disease when somebody asks you why you're a vegetarian. One of the strongest reasons for being a vegetarian health-wise is because it helps you keep a healthy weight. The study that I was recently looking at was from the Preventative Medical Research Institute, said that within the first year, average people lose 24 pounds, and 5 years later, they still are 24 pounds down, just simply by not eating meat. Now, that's not talking about dairy, that's not talking about additional exercise, it's not talking about counting calories, it's not talking about any of that. It's just meat being gone, 24 pounds gone in 12 months. On average. I mean, it's pretty strong. And considering, the standard American diet on which I was raised, that leads to weight gain, as you can see happening in the American population.
Obesity is a serious issue.
Yeah, and it's growing. It's a growing issue here in Korea as well. And so anything you can do to keep your weight down as you age is a huge benefit. Vegetarians have been known to live longer. The average is 13 years. I was just reading recently. And just like Jack said, it really helps reduce foodborne illnesses. You don't hear vegetarians saying that I came down with food poisoning over the weekend and had to spend it in bed. It's very rare.
You started out as a vegetarian, not a vegan, right?
Yeah.
And then you went from being a vegetarian to a vegan.
Yeah.
Why?
I did. Well, it just was natural. It was just a natural progression. Because the moment you start being a vegetarian is the moment you start being more aware about what you're putting in your body. And when you're sitting there looking at a vegetarian plate and it's full of, milk and cream and cheese, you just start thinking, well, I'm not eating meat for all kinds of reasons. Maybe one of them is because animals are at stake or because it's maybe not natural for my body. So you just start to realize that, well, dairy doesn't really fit into that paradigm either. And if I'm really going to be careful and feed my body the best and feel awesome every single day, that means that I don't eat milk or cheese. And cheese is the one that people are like, I can't believe you don't eat cheese.
Well, but I think the health benefits that you two mentioned are a better motivation for becoming a vegetarian. I've met a lot of vegetarians and vegans who are staunch supporters of animal rights.
Sure.
And that can be a little
overwhelming. Right. Yes, right.
Yeah.
What about some disadvantages of being a vegetarian, though? I mean, can you maintain a balanced diet? And also, what about your social life, family life, if you've got friends and family members who are not necessarily on the same diet as you?
Well?
There are some social pressure. Because most Koreans love to eat meals.
Of course.
Barbecue,
gotta have your samgyeopsal.
So sometimes it's difficult to have a meal together with them. But there are some ways that I can say I can order something that's vegetarian dishes or just I just make more vegetarian friends. That's why.
That's why you joined the Seoul Veggie
Yeah,
Club.
that's why I just
Yeah. There are problems. I mean, but they're all surmountable problems because you really want to make yourself, once you start feeling so awesome, you just want to keep going. And I mean, there's really nothing more important that you do with your day than eating. Think about it. You don't do anything else 3 or 4 times every single day. And so once you see these little problems pop up, like for example, my husband is a flexitarian.
Oh, you are married?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah. He's a flexitarian. He goes out and he eats meat, and, you know, I don't care. I don't care. When we're at home, I cook vegetarian, and when we're out, he eats a burger, and it really doesn't bother me. You just adapt.
You don't have children yet?
Oh, no.
No. Well, what about your children? Are you going to force them to become vegetarians as well?
Well, honestly, I've thought about it, and truly, I haven't come to a decision yet. I don't want to force anybody to do anything, but I definitely, you know, having the child watch me, they're going to start to wonder what's going on and maybe make the choice for themselves later. And with my husband being a flexitarian, I guess they'll be vegetarian at home.
He can cook the meat.
yeah, if they want. I don't think he would go out of his way to do that, but truly, I mean, it's a problem I haven't had to solve yet.
So your children can become flexitarians.
Sure, they can be whatever they want.
When they eat out, they can eat meat.
Sure, that's fine with me.
What about, in Korean society? I mean, you're a man, Jack, and men face, I think, stronger social pressure to be out there with the buddies, with the coworkers, to go on that peshik and eat meat. Don't they frown upon you when you say that you're a vegetarian?
Well, that's why I became a flexitarian. Because
So
there
when
are some
you're under
social
pressure,
occasions that are unavoidable. Like that I have to eat a little bit of meat. But I would just try hard to eat more vegetable as much as possible.
What about the nutritional balance? How do you achieve that? Where do you get your proteins and fats from?
Like a good source of protein is soy.
So, of
so
course,
soy, they can become soy milk and tofu, and many other, and even the plant. The vegetable like a spinach, kale, broccoli. They are full of proteins. Actually, so just by having plants, having a vegetable, you can get enough amount of protein. Yeah,
and actually, it's kind of a myth that you need tons and tons and tons of protein. That if you want to be healthy, all you need is more protein. That's really not the case. You only need about 10% of what people are eating now in America, anyway. People are eating way too much protein, and those sources tend to be from animal fats, which are not actually the richest sources of protein that you can get. An animal has already received the protein from the plants for their own bodies, and so by the time you're getting the protein, it's secondhand. The animal has already used what they need, and instead you're just eating the remains of the protein in their body. Whereas, like Jack said, you can go straight to the source and just get the protein from the plants. In addition, we should definitely mention beans. Beans are a huge source of protein, and they're easily accessible. They're cheap. They're super easy to cook up. It's a cinch. So, I don't struggle getting protein at all.
So, what's your daily diet like, Shelley?
My daily diet?
Yeah, is it like rabbit food?
Oh no. A lot of people might assume that, but no, I eat a ton of food, and I'm not wasting away, certainly not. And my breakfast is usually a nice warm or cold grain, usually brown rice or white rice leftover from last night, a big huge pile of vegetables, sometimes a big slap of hummus or tahini, like a lot of hummus. Okay, it's a very rich breakfast. And then usually at lunchtime is further vegetable intake, further grain intake, a lot of soup. Oftentimes I'll fry some tofu with tons of salt and good oil, real crispy. And then later in the day, in the evening, I tend to be kind of a burrito hound. I really love burritos. I love to roll anything into a tortilla. and I have like 1, 2, 3, I'm drinking beer, I'm having a good time. I'm certainly not dipping raw carrots into, tofu dressing.
What about being a vegetarian in Korea? Is that easy enough?
Well, it's certainly easy enough. I find it's actually quite enlivening an experience. I don't really have much trouble at all. Now, I've heard of a lot of people who really do struggle, and I think one of the reasons is that they lay out this sort of obsession for it. That with no flexibility, as Jack was saying, where sometimes you have to push and pull. Or if you go to a restaurant and you can't read the language, for example, me, I can't read Korean very quickly. Certainly not quick enough to order on the spot. And so sometimes I just have to say no meat, and they bring it to me, and there's no meat in it. It's just easy. You just learn to say no meat. And I have a lot of bibimbap when I go out, or I go to Western restaurants. There's usually something. I'm never wanting, really. But it is a measure of flexibility. You need to make sure that what's really important to you is still getting met. If it's really important to you to not eat a single thing from any animal, no honey, no nothing like that at all, then of course you're going to struggle. Yeah, but I just try and remember, passion for food is sexy and strong, but obsession for food is not sexy. Nobody wants to listen to, as you said, someone who's going on and on about animals.
I'm thinking a lot of Korean soup dishes are, beef broth.
Beef broth,
or fish broth.
Yeah.
So...
Especially with fish. You have fish pops in and out. And, if it's a fish broth and I realize that it is halfway through, I'm going to keep going. I need to eat.
And these servers and restaurant owners, they're accommodating?
Oh, yeah, they're really sweet. Oftentimes they're asking questions about, oh, really, why? They want to know if I'm very strict religion or something. They really want to find out, what's going on. And I've really never encountered any animosity. Never. How about you, Jack? Any trouble?
I just order and just usual dish, and I just have some fish broth soup as well. But I just don't want to eat barbecue and too much meat.
Okay. There are also lots of, I guess, Korean dishes that are just vegetables. I mean, we have a lot of namul and vegetables, and bibimbap, I guess, without the eggs and the meat, right?
Well, usually bibimbap comes vegetarian, at least from what in my experience. Or you just say no meat and it's fine, and take the egg off if you don't want it, and you're gold.
Well, what other Korean dishes are there that are loved by vegetarians?
There are like tofu dishes, tofu with kimchi, fermented kimchi, and tofu soup. And there are some soy products, other soy products like dishes like soybean noodles. Yeah, there are actually plenty of it.
Oh, and you can still have makgeolli and pajeon, can't you?
Yeah, see?
Yes.
And by the time you've had all that, you're stuffed and you're laughing and, who cares? It's just so relaxed. It's so easy.
So, tell me about the Seoul Veggie Club. Who founded the group?
Well, the Seoul Veggie Club was founded by a guy called Ron. He was an American who was in Korea for about 4 years. He's since gone back to America. And right now, we are sort of wrapped up with the Seoul Vegan Potluck group. We're about pretty much one and the same at this point. It's the same group of people that are meeting once a month with a big meal, lots of cool dishes people bring from their homes. And that's usually a once a month meeting.
Okay. So how long has the club been around?
6 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess it was started to lend support to the vegetarians out there.
Just to tell other vegetarians that we're out there, we're here in Seoul, we're living, we're not wasting away, and we're not eating cold carrots. And, it's easy.
Jack, how'd you find out about the club?
It's on Facebook, and I just searched vegetarian on the Facebook, and that's the club I just found.
Okay.
Yeah, and I joined like a year ago. And there are like more expats than Koreans.
But there are Koreans.
There are some Korean members as well.
Koreans are welcome as well.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
How many members do you have now then?
I think the last time I checked earlier this morning, it was over 300, but I didn't, dig through and find an exact number. It's hundreds. And, we're very active on Facebook especially. That's kind of where the headquarters are. And every month we have new people showing up at the Seoul Veggie Potluck with my friend Adina Thomas. She runs that whole thing, and we just collect people every month. It's really growing.
So that's your regular meet once a month, Veggie Potluck.
There'll be one on November 30th.
Yeah,
in Taiwan.
30th.
Yeah, 30th.
I think Magpie Brewery. It's going to be a big Thanksgiving spread.
Oh, okay. So do you exchange recipes and ideas as well?
It's a lot of recipe exchange. Yep.
On Facebook as well.
Yup, and ideas for cooking classes, and hey, I found this amazing thing here. You should go check it out, or dairy-free butter, or whatever, good soy milk, nice tofu.
Information.
Yeah, information.
And then I guess with the potluck as well, you get to taste all the dishes that the members brought. Yeah. So you have to come with a dish.
Yes,
to
you
the
do.
potluck.
Anything.
Are you going this month, Jack?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because I understand Jack and Shelley never met until today.
I know. I've heard so much about him. I hadn't met him until just now, but yeah, we'll be going.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you guys have been Facebook friends, but not in-person friends.
No,
So finally this month you get to go to the potluck together. Can you share some good vegetarian dish recipes for us to try? Do you have one?
Yeah, I really love to cook. I'm in the kitchen all the time, even though, I'm sure with many of your listeners, and Jack probably as well, I have the tiniest kitchen in the whole wide world. But I really love to cook. I make a ton of soup, especially now that it's getting cold. And as I said, burritos, I make lots of fried vegetables, good hearty things that I just wrap up in tortillas. I really love noodles, just rice, tons of stuff that I can just throw together quickly with just a quick bit of seasoning, maybe some sesame seeds sprinkled on top, sit down, have a beer, and I'm done. Nothing stressful.
You do like your beer.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Beer is vegan. That's what we always remember.
What do you do for stock, for broth?
I just make my own.
Oh, using veggies?
Yeah, it's real simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you cook at home, Jack?
No, I usually go restaurant.
Okay, but then as Jack said, you are a flexitarian.
Yeah.
So. Cool. Good learning about the Seoul Veggie Club. And if there are vegetarians out there who need help living in Seoul, go join the Seoul Veggie Club on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Start with that. Thanks very much, Shelley and Jack, for coming in, sharing your stories with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Our Seoul communities this week featured the Seoul Veggie Club, and we had two members, Shelley, DeWees, and Jaegyun joining us. With that, we're wrapping up the first hour of the show. We still have a lot more to come in the second hour that starts at 11:05. Do stick around, come back and join us again then. In the meantime, here's a song by a vegetarian singer, Carrie Underwood, with Good Girl.